my name. As Nigerians remember the event of June 12, 1993 in commemoration of Democracy Day, political watchers have called on citizens to participate more in the democratic process to fully engender development in the country. Some commentators who spoke to Osrc expressed the need for Nigerians to prioritize competence while making decisions in the 2023 general election. Zaida Ibisala has more.
The 12th of June is cemented in Nigeria's history with memories of the 1993 presidential election won by Chief Moshood Abiola but annulled by the military junta. The historically adjudged freest and fairest election conducted in the country is perhaps one resonating moment of true ideals of democracy witnessed by many Nigerians. Despite Nigeria's 23 years of unbroken democracy since 1999, which has produced 4 presidents, some Nigerians say the true tenet of democracy remain elusive.
It's a pity that democracy we are asking for, we can say we've got it, we can say we have not got it. We got it in the sense that the military is not around, but we've not got it in the sense that the democracy we are aspiring for, we've not got it in the right perspective. We are not even operating it well.
Lack of obedience to the rule of law and judicial process, respect for human rights, corruption, among others, are festering signs that more still needs to be done for democracy to run in its strides.
Democracy is the establishment of the rule of law. When you're talking about tenet of democracy, you're talking about the pillar of the rule of law and the rights of individuals. So those are the two things that come to fore when you're talking about democracy. Having said that, how have we fared in this area? Obviously, you will agree with me that there's a need for us to take a look at our constitution so that we can strengthen democracy vis-a-vis our document of union. You know, there's no shortcut to strengthening the democracy other than strengthening the constitution.
To fully enjoy democracy benefit, some political observers urge citizens to thirst for inclusion and engagement from their representatives. According to the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, out of the 82.3 million registered voters, only 28.6 million voted in the 2019 elections. These worrying statistics, advocates equate with surrendering the power of democracy to the hands of a few.
People should now sit down and let our leaders know that democracy is for all of us. It's not autocracy. Selection. When you are talking of all this new thing that you are saying, this one should go and contest. They are all nominated. Money matters. They hijack a democracy to money. You see, all these things are not part of democracy. We should be able to see ourselves as part of government.
As Nigerians march towards the 2023 general elections, they need to reflect on the June 12, 1993 presidential election, where credibility and competence trumped mediocrity and bias. Political observers say it is necessary to change the course of democracy for the best. Zaida Ibisala, Osrc News.
Well, Ondo State Governor Oluwarotimi Akeredolu says it is high time Nigeria stopped playing ostrich with nation's challenges, while the leaders continue to avoid ultimatum of restructuring to pave the way for a new dawn. In a message to commemorate this year's Democracy Day through its Chief Press Secretary, Richard Olatunde, Akeredolu maintained that June 12 represents Nigerians' crusade to dare tyrants and oppressors in leadership. He charged Nigerians to sustain their appetite for restructuring despite impediment, noting that freedom is not given but demanded, and expressed confidence that the country will be united, strong and prosperous if people do not relent their commitment. The governor regretted the state is engrossed in mourning and cannot mark the Democracy Day with the usual pomp because of last Sunday's terror attack that was visited on helpless worshippers at St. Francis Catholic Church, Owo. Akeredolu received calls to security agencies to chase the perpetrators to their hideouts for arrest and prosecution, added that the state would never succumb to the antics of the criminal element. In the meantime, President Muhammadu Buhari has saluted the resilience and commitment of Nigerians to the nation's democratic ideas in the face of existential confrontations. The president, who addressed the nation on the occasion of this year's Democracy Day, said it is a pride that the country has sustained unbroken and flourishing democracy for over 20 years and Nigerians are still counting. The speech was monitored by our studio and presented by Juliet Bona.
It is important for all of us to remember that June 12th,
President Muhammadu Buhari congratulated Nigerians on witnessing another Democracy Day, despite the challenges of life that stare them in the face on a daily basis. The president, who reiterated his administration's position to move Democracy Day from 29th of May to June 12th, said it's to consistently acknowledge the acclaimed free and fair elections on this day, and as well dignify the symbol of the historic electoral milestone of Chief M.K. Abiola and other martyrs of the epoch struggle.
It is important for all of us to remember that June 12, 2023 will be exactly 30 years from 1993 presidential elections. In honor and memory of one of our national heroes for democracy, Chief MKO Abiola, GCFR, we must all work together to ensure this transition is done in a peaceful manner. I am hopeful that we can achieve this.
Buhari said the peaceful and mature disposition as well as mentality that surrounded the June 12 watershed showed consistency and substance in Nigeria's character as displayed in the recently concluded party primaries where the process were credible and transparent. The president said little wonder both winners and losers accepted their fate without threatening fire and brimstone. The Nigerian leader noted that it gladdens his heart that youths and women are breaking political ceiling, unlike in the past when they played active spectators.
I followed the party primaries closely, from the state level to the presidential level. I was very impressed to see across all the political parties that most candidates ran issue-based campaigns. The language and the tone throughout were on the whole measured and controlled.
He said as the country glides into another general election, it behoves the politicians to stimulate the vigorous and mental engagement through issue-based campaign, which his administration has made feasible and practicable by virtue of the electoral reforms. Buhari told Nigerians that he shares the pains and anguish of insecurity which has made life almost miserable and promised that his government would not blink an eyelid in ensuring that undesirable elements are run out of circulation and canvassed public support to make security agencies function maximally. In a sober reflection, the president remembered those who had lost their lives through various security breaches and comforted their families for the irreparable loss. He also identified with the abductees in unwarranted captivity and assured them and their families that his administration is pulling all strings to ensure their safe release.
As a government, we are working hard to contain and address these challenges and ensure that the 2023 general elections are safe and secure for all Nigerians. To achieve this, however, we must all contribute. It is not the job of government alone. I ask all citizens to support and cooperate with our security agencies by reporting any suspicious characters and activities to law enforcement agencies. We can only have a safe country if we are able to prevent crime, not after the crime has been committed.
In a similarly farewell speech, the president observed that this year's Democracy Day will be his last shot as incumbent, but pledged that he would protect Nigerians at all times and boasted that he would bequeath to the nation a free, fair and transparent electoral process necessary for a prosperous nation. Juliet Bona, Osrc News.
As preparations towards 2023 general elections gathers momentum, the Prelate Methodist Church Nigeria, His Eminence Samuel Uche, has charged Nigerians to get their permanent voters' cards for the exercise. The Prelate, while speaking with Osrc in Accra, the Ondo State capital, said the current situation in Nigeria requires a visionary leader who has the capacity to change the current unrest which is threatening the existence of mankind in the country. He said that could only be achieved through the ballot.
If our vote will count, I will urge every Nigerian to get PVC, register, get PVC if you are 18 years and above, and then vote. Don't allow yourself to be bought over. Don't mortgage your future because of Naira. Because every 4 years, we buy, some people mortgage their future, collect money, and continue to suffer. Their children will complete education, no employment for the youth, no skill, nothing. We want a leader that will think about the people, a leader that will operate a type of government that is transformational.
Acts on religious houses, and with a recent one at St. Francis Catholic Church, Owo, the prelate called for tighter security arrangement in the country.
Let people, if they go to worship either in the mosque or in the shrine or in the church, those are sacred places. Allow them to worship according to their belief and come out. Nobody has monopoly of riot or violence.
Weeks ago alongside other clergymen and were released after a ransom was paid. The governor of Ondo State, Oluwarotimi Akeredolu, has attended a special interdenominational prayers in honor of the victims of the recent terror attack in Owo. The event held at the premises of St. Francis Catholic Church was organized by the Owo chapter of the Christian Association of Nigeria. The Bishop of Owo Anglican Diocese, Dr. Stephen Fagbemi, urged Christians to remain strong and steadfast while putting their faith and trust in God. Government House correspondent Wahab Bankole reports that Governor Akeredolu also played host to his Osun State counterpart, Wega Oyetola, who was in the state for a condolence visit.
The arrival of Governor Akeredolu at the St. Francis Catholic Church in Owo for the service lit up the praise worship of the congregation. The interdenominational service was organized by the Owo chapter of the Christian Association of Nigeria to pray for the repose of souls of our terror attack. The Bishop of our Anglican Diocese, Dr. Stephen Fagbemi, urged Christians to put their faith in God always. He commended Governor Akeredolu's security efforts, saying perpetrators of the heinous act would not escape justice.
Wherever they are, until they manifest, until they are apprehended, they will never peace in Jesus' name.
Governor Akeredolu, who reassured residents of their safety, said restructuring is a panacea to the country's deficit.
We have to do more. Yes. And more than my saying, oh my need, I spare I've also every place of worship. I take a CCTV. Sibe. Le a ṣàfihàn. Àwọn yan wa tọkàn gbogbo lote ton deyan ní hospital. Ọlọ́run mú wọn lára dá.
The governor said his administration will immortalize the casualties with a memorial park. He later visited the injured in different hospitals. Meanwhile, Osun State Governor Wega Oyetola, during his condolence visit, said the attackers will be arrested. He consoled the governor and the people of the state.
It's unfortunate that insecurity in our state, in our zone, in our country is becoming very alarming. We're hearing of things like that happening elsewhere. We never expected that we'll get to the level that we witness a thing like that in our zone.
Governor Akeredolu, who appreciated the visit, called for a team spirit to overcome the nation's shortcomings.
No doubt, sir. What happened in our Sunday? It's better, imagine, it's better for us to put it behind us, because I had the opportunity of visiting the scene of the crime. I went to the church. I went in there a couple of times. When people come, they want to see. I can't imagine it. That people will just go into the church. Not to kidnap. Initially, we thought we wanted to kidnap the father, the parish priest. They didn't kidnap anybody. Not to steal. They did not take a couple. But to maim and kill.
Wahab Bankole, Osrc News.
Well, 1 week after a suspected terrorist attacked St. Francis Catholic Church that left 40 people dead, most churches in the town recorded low turnout of worshippers. Osrc's Richard Ilesomi, who was in the town, reports that in churches with over 100 worshippers, few turned up for fear of attack. As the body of Christ continued to bear the situation, there were messages of courage and comfort from clergymen urging them to renew their faith in God regardless of the situation.
A quiet Owaluwa street in the ancient town of Owo, in our local government area of Ondo State, where gunmen killed scores of worshippers at St. Francis Catholic Church last Sunday. Our crew arrived here on Sunday, June 12, a week after the massacre, what we saw were police vehicles and security agents stationed around the church, and no service took place here. We gained access into the church, and rather than seeing worshippers, what we met was the cleaning and mopping of the pool of blood of the victims shared by the yet to be identified assailants, and the church is still marked as a crime scene. It's a week that gunmen plunged the town into sorrow, and this is evident in the very low turnout of worshippers in most churches as people stayed at home for fear of another attack. Here at the St. Patrick's, a church of over 150 worshippers, the situation here is self-explanatory as few turned up for service.
I received telephone calls from some of our members that we should pray for them at home, that they will not be able to come. But yet, we still have few of our members that are in the church worshiping God with us.
The situation was not different at the Methodist Church of Owo and the New Church Cathedral. Few congregated for the Sunday service with security agents stationed around the churches.
We are afraid of what we shouldn't be afraid of. If God had made a promise, He will stand by His promise. And what I will just say to all believers is, we should let our faith increase.
For now, the weekly program should be under desk. People should stay at home to pray. But Sunday service, we encourage them to come to the church because all we have is Jesus. We don't have any other power.
This is the road to St. Andrew's Anglican Church in Molawa, which is few meters to St. Francis Catholic Church, attacked last Sunday, and the barricade mounted here by security agents is to prevent unwanted movements.
But I'm personally concerned about intelligence gathering. And the question is, where is the intelligence gathering in our security system today? And this surely, if it's well done, can guide us against some of these attacks and give us victory over them.
See, we are going to sustain this new development of security, not only here, all over Owo, because Arakunrin is so concerned for sanctity of life.
Apart from the metal detector used to screen people into most of the churches, security agents provided cover for worshippers, and our crew caught up with the Commissioner of Police, Oyeyemi Oyediran, and his men patrolling the town.
So hardly we get to any church without seeing the presence of policemen. We are trying to police all the churches we have in our community. Wherever that is not possible, we have vehicular patrols that visit our churches.
Though what dominated sermons in churches was a message of courage for members to stand firm, but whether the message will work the magic of increased turnout for subsequent Sunday service remains to be seen. From Owo, Richard Ilesomi, Osrc News.
State Governor Oluwarotimi Akeredolu has received the senator representing Ondo North Senatorial District at the Senate. Senator Ajayi Borofers at the Government House, Alagbaka Akure, Senator Boniface, who was on a condolence visit about the terror attack in Owo, described the incident as a serious problem for the country. He commended the governor for always standing on the side of truth, adding that the security situation in the state would have been worsened but for the creation of the Amotekun Corps. Governor Akredolu appreciated the lawmaker for the condolence visit, adding that what happened in Owo was indescribable. He reiterated the need for Amotekun Corps to carry arms like other security agencies so as to enable them confront criminal elements effectively. While Nigerians have been admonished to be security conscious and always volunteer useful information to security agencies, the board chairman, the International Strategic Management Institute, Mr. Paul Yaro, spoke at the Institute's 4th Biennial Conference in Accra, Ondo State Capital. Osrc reporter Azimo Ibiemi covered the event and his report.
International Strategic Management Institute is a professional organization with the aim of bringing up young ones and training them to become professionals in their chosen career in the society. The 4th Biennial Conference, with the theme Security and Development, our collective responsibility, brought together top security experts to meet minds on the way out of insecurity in the country. The board chairman, International Strategic Management Institute, Mr. Paul Yaro, said security situation in the country calls for concern. He urged every resident to be security conscious at this critical period of insecurity.
I don't think the security outfit have not been gathering intelligence and reports. I want to believe they have been doing it, except that it may not be adequate. Probably they need to scale up, they need to step up their information gathering so that can enable them nip any lapse in security before it even takes place.
Guest speaker, Professor Mba Yusuf, took the gathering on the memory lane and enjoined Nigerians to be security conscious and see issues of security as a collective responsibility.
We are moving to that era of politics again, politics of succession. We need to pay more attention to this aspect of political violence, especially its electoral variant. Because studies have shown in this context, in Nigeria in particular, that during the pre-election phase, there tends to be an upward movement or an increase in the level of electoral violence.
Security experts and others who spoke at the event appealed to Nigerians to be conscious of their environment and security should not be left to government alone.
Now we have been sloganeering, if you see something, say something. But you can only say something when you have identified what you have seen. Many of us have seen so many things and we don't even know that they are threats. Look at your war issue. Up till now, we are still asking questions. Nobody can really say this is how many they are. This operation was not just 1 minute, not just for 2 minutes. But yet, nobody can say they are tall, they are short, but they are not spirits.
Without security, there cannot be sustainable development. Hence, the strong end-up between the two phenomena. The importance of security to national development has also influenced budgetary allocation to security.
The insecurity is right from our home. It's right from our palaces. Because we are shouting of Boko Haram, Boko Haram. Some of our children have turned to Boko Haram. These people, they don't know anywhere. It's our people that are showing them the way.
The event also featured awards and induction of members of the Institute. At the end of the event, the gathering unanimously agreed to assist security officials with necessary information to curb insecurity in the society. Zimo Ibiemi, Osrc News.
And that's it on Sunshine Report. Thanks for watching. Good afternoon.